You're watching The Ryan Silverfield Show, presented by AutoZone.
The Tigers are still searching for that sixth win to become bowl eligible. We take you back to that ECU game, plus we look at a day in the life of Ryan Silverfield. That's all happening tonight on The Ryan Silverfield Show.
The game is on.
The Ryan Silverfield Show is presented by AutoZone. When you've got car trouble, you want help from number one. So if you've got a battery problem, head to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone, AutoZone. And by Conway Services, the official HVAC partner of Tiger Athletics. Chick-fil-A, we didn't invent chicken, just the chicken sandwich. R.J. Young, technology solutions that power your business. Tennessee Lottery, turning dollars into dreams.
The November winning streak comes to an end. East Carolina gets the Tigers. Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Willoshin.
And I'm Jarvis Greer. Let's take a look at the highlights with Cassie Carlson.
ECU and Memphis both playing for win number 6 to become bowl eligible. First quarter, Seth Hennigan hits Asa Martin, who has room to run. He's in for 6. The Tigers take a 7-0 lead. Second quarter, Tigers down 13-7. Hennigan looks deep, and Eddie Lewis on the receiving end. A 75-yard touchdown ties up the game after David Kemp misses the extra point. 16-13, ECU in the third, Memphis in the red zone. Hennigan with the shuffle pass to tight end Sean Dykes. Memphis up 20-16. The Pirates score a touchdown to go up 23-20, leaving it to kicker David Kemp to send it to OT. He hits the 24-yarder, and we've got overtime. ECU on offense first. Keaton Mitchell gets to the outside and goes in for a 24-yard score. Tigers turn. Rodriguez Clark basically making the same move, and he keeps Memphis in it. ECU ices Kemp on the extra point. Silverfield decides to go for 2 and the win. Coming out of timeout, Hennigan rolls right. No one to throw to. The Tigers don't convert as ECU goes on to win 30-29. Keeping cool under pressure, defensive back Jacoby Francis, 2 interceptions, 7 tackles, and a career-high 2.5 tackles for a loss. Here's Ryan Silverfield with Jarvo and Wolo after the game.
Heartbreak in overtime. Tigers fall to East Carolina. Coach, I prefer to think about the last 2 gutty drives in regulation and in overtime to keep you in the game.
Yeah, we just didn't go out there and execute at a high enough level. That was the disappointing part. You know, the ups and downs all game, but ultimately came down to not being able to kick the ball like we wanted to, and then, you know, the offense not being able to execute throughout the game, whether it's a lack of a run game or just being able to execute what we need to. It was really more base downs, and I kind of, you know, alluded to that before. That's what led us to the decisions, you know, at the end of the game and then in overtime.
Defensively, in the red zone, you guys were outstanding, except for third down conversions. That was the problem today.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I thought the defense did a lot of good things, keeping them out of the end zone. You know, the 2 takeaways by Jacoby Francis, but you know, we were very, very poor on third down. I think, you know, what happened was East Carolina was getting to 3rd and 9, and then all of a sudden, you know, 12-yard gain, or the quarterback find a way to scramble and get 12 yards, 11 yards, whatever it may look like. And so the third down stops weren't there as a defense, and we've got to find a way to execute better because, you know, the 5 sacks, the 2 takeaways, those are all positive things, but if you can't get off the field, it led to a lot of ball control in a different way.
When you get those sacks, though, that is some plays that energizes the defense. When you got guys like Ordalis Duckworth and some of the other players, Rodney Owens had a bunch of tackles, TFLs in this game, and those are the kind of things hopefully you can build on going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I think our defense is improving day in and day out, week in and week out, and you know, it's nice to see over the last 2 games 10 sacks, but that, you know, like I said, the execution on base downs has to continue to improve upon, but absolutely, you know, I was pleased with some of those efforts.
And on the flip side, offensively, you got to get some people healthy. I mean, it's like really been tough down here at the end of the year, and the karma for this team is turning in the wrong direction because this has been a healthy football team for the past few years, getting down to the end of the season. This year just hasn't worked out for them.
Sure, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and make excuses or explanations where we're at, but I think it's pretty well known. You know, even today, really we were down 4 more starters, but that's November football, and that's where we're at, and we've got to have guys step up. And I think, like I said earlier, you know, the lack of the run game and just not being able to put together drives. Well, I don't want to be as an offense just, hey, it's 1 or 2 explosives, and if you don't get those, you're not doing your job, and that was a problem. You know, you go to overtime, And I sat there and thought about, okay, you know, if you get back the ball again, they know we're going to pass because we couldn't run the football. And then if you don't get the first down, then you're trying to attempt a long field goal, which I didn't feel confident in.
Here's to getting healthier in the very near future. You know, to be a great football team, you have to have players, you have to have coaches, but you also have to have an outstanding support staff behind the scenes.
With everything in life, there was always somebody behind the star. And when it comes to the University of Memphis, there is a support group that is behind the players and behind the coaches. And so, Ryan, let's start with the most critical help that you get every week from somebody that's not a coach or player.
Yeah, I think, you go back and look at it, right? We have a wonderful operations department. Our day-to-day, the way this building functions, the way our program functions, our football, is through our operations department. We're very fortunate. We have a director of football operation named Andrew Schneblin, who's done a fantastic job. We have Aaron Bowling. We've got Nelson Fabrizis. We got a whole crew of guys that help make this thing go. And so our operations department, first and foremost, does a lot of the day-to-day things, a lot of behind the scenes that people don't see. And I also think it's very important that you talk about a recruiting department, right? That's really where our players come in. They do a lot of the behind the work, make us understand who are some of those prospects out there, a lot of evaluation ahead of time, bring us the guys so we have the opportunity as position coaches, as coaches to say, okay, who are some of the guys we need to be getting at?
When you bring these people in, it's like it's really almost like an NFL operation. You yourself, you've been with several NFL teams, and you know that the way that the college game is going right now, you almost have to do it on that type of NFL scale.
Yeah, I think what we saw is the college football kind of replicates the NFL. And what's happened is, as these staffs grew and grew over the years, in the 80s, right, most of these college football staffs were, hey, it's just the 10 coaches and let's go. Well, they've already added another position coach, right, that they've added to the full-time. Now you hear of graduate assistants, quality control coaches, all these administrators. You look at a place like the University of Georgia has 42 people in the recruiting department. Right? That's bigger than our just general staff. So that's part of the way this thing's going. Obviously, everybody needs to have a role, but the more hands on deck, the better help you get.
Well, and there's trainers, there's managers. Some are, employees, full-time folks. Some are students that are helping to offset their education costs.
Yeah, well, just as equally as important, right? Our athletic training staff, Daryl Turner and his staff do a fantastic job, and they do have a lot of student helps, right? Whether it's somebody providing water to the players during practice or helping tape an ankle. Then you also talk about the equipment managers. I mean, their job is as essential as any. They work hard. Those students, Mark Hohorst, his group, they work so hard, and those students that show up day in, day out, they don't get the credit for a win. But I always think it's important because after games, win or loss, I always go and check on everybody. And after a previous win, I'll go and check on our guys. And if I see the equipment or the student workers, the managers, or the people that provide the water, hey, congratulations to you, because they put in the work all week just as much as the players do. So they deserve as much of the credit as anybody else.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because the trainers and the managers, they're here way before the team gets here, and they're here way after the team gets here. And that's something that the people at home really don't see.
Absolutely. And the one thing that we've instilled in our program and within our culture about being all in is respecting everybody. And I always say this, I want you to treat the head coach just like you would the janitor, just like the janitor, just like you would the head coach. And I think our people understand that. So if it's a student equipment manager that's a freshman that may be helping put stickers on a helmet at 4 a.m. or an athletic trainer that's there at 8 p.m. making sure that a guy's getting the right proper ice treatment, I think that's important that we're treating everybody with a lot of respect. Our players are bought into that, and I think that's why we all respect each other and we've had success on and off the field here.
If you want to be a head football coach at the college level, it's an early wake-up call. We take you through a day in the life of head coach Ryan Silverfield right after this.
You're watching The Ryan Silverfield Show, presented by AutoZone.
My alarm went off at 3 a.m. just so I could get the full experience of what it's like to be a head football coach.
Good morning. It's currently 4 a.m. and I am on my way to the Memphis football facility because we're doing a day in the life of head coach Ryan Silverfield.
Morning, Tiger Nation. Ready to spend a day with your head football coach? Let's go get this thing. Morning, boss. Morning. How are you? Living the dream. All right. Thanks for coming in.
All right, so we go lanes. I'll go lane. You go this lane. Ready to roll?
Okay, is this a race?
No, this is not a race. This is a slow
Okay,
trot
yeah.
by. Let's go get it. One of the reasons why we get here so early is, first and foremost, for me, it's the only time I can be by myself. The opportunity to go for a run or workout. Obviously, I need to do more of it, but it allows me to clear my mind. I think it's a stressful job. There's always something that's occurring, and usually when I'm out there on the track by myself, it's hard for someone to come find me. But it was nice to have the lights on for the first time in my 6 years here.
It's 4.5 minute miles. Blazing it.
I get a peace of mind. I think about things, whether it's just to almost not think at all, but to think about, certain things, whether it's recruiting, plays that we want to like in the game plan, different things that we need to do differently with our culture and our program. So I think when I'm out there, it allows me to be by myself. All right, looking ahead today's schedule. All right, guys, we'll do a special teams meeting here and then roll through normal, relatively Wednesday practice. That's about as dialed in as I've seen them during a stretch yesterday, so let's crank it up a whole nother notch today. You guys good?
Yep.
Pretty boring life. Morning, Johnny. Good morning.
It's all entrepreneur stuff. That's what we talking about every time in this situation.
Some bacon and the French toast and bacon. I thought about getting some food.
Jeremy, you good?
Well, Tyrell. How are you? You gonna play Uno this one?
Maybe they let me. They thought I was cheating last time. Good.
Hello, Josh. The call, check it in. Yes, sir. You my dad?
Yep, it's 6. Yes, sir.
All right, what do you think? This is not for public knowledge.
Break it up! Raise your hand if you have anybody in your family that has currently or one time served in the military that you knew. Raise your hand. A good majority of you guys. Hey, make sure you have the opportunity to wish them a happy Veterans Day. They're gonna win this on 3. 1, 2, 3. We fits.
There's rarely time that I'm alone. Most of the time when I'm in here, it's an open door policy, but as soon as that door starts to get cracked, somebody's usually knocking. There's something that's occurring. You want to sign that cast?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Good. Get those hands where you need them. Good. On the ball. Tight elbow, Brandon. Let's go get it, Sincere. Bronson, you good?
Take the field. Let's go.
Compete today. One of the reasons why we practice here in the mornings at Memphis is because of our class schedule. And every class that's offered in the AM, all right, in the spring is offered in the PM in the fall and vice versa. So we're able to get any classes that the guys may miss, they can do it.
You guys were excellent last week. Now tomorrow has to be better than today.
Every one of our players gets the day they step on campus, gets an iPad. And so our notes, when we were in the position meeting rooms and as a staff, we're talking through it. And so coaches are typing in the notes, and those actually appear directly onto a player's iPad by position. So they can learn from that and kind of They know exactly what we're saying in the meeting room, and they can get it. Plus the virtual reality, that we have the virtual reality cameras on the guys' helmets. They can use that on their iPads.
Anything in general that we need to be aware of?
Nothing really. We had registration earlier this week. The guys have seen overall in study hall attitude has been a lot better than the last couple of weeks.
Camera over your shoulder.
No, but I think Saturday really helped for sure. So I think that helped.
I'm very fortunate to be in this position. 23 years in this profession. I've tried to do it the right way most along the way, and I've learned a lot. And I also understand this. There's what it may be. If there's somebody who needs to get in touch with me, there's something that's important. It's my job to make sure I respond, and that's why there's only 24 hours in a day, and I try to maximize most of them, and that's hence why I get up so early and probably why I stay up too late. But I'm so fortunate to be here, and I think that's part of it. So I don't look at it that here I've got to come into work and I got to work these long hours. I get to come in and have fun and do what I love to do. And is it work? Absolutely, but I enjoy it. I enjoy every second, no matter what it looks like.
Let's see if I know how to use FaceTime, but I don't get a number. It's right down the street called One and Only Barbecue, and they got really good pulled pork nachos. Okay. Yeah, so I crush those, and sometimes they get, but when it's all said and done, you can't go wrong with all the food around here. All right, Tiger family, finally heading home. 9:30 at night, another 17-hour workday. Got to wake up and be better tomorrow. Go Tigers.
It's a 17-hour day. We're out.
Well, I'll be catching up on sleep for the next week, but coming up after the break, we're going to preview Houston, the Tigers' next opponent.
You're watching The Ryan Silverfield Show, presented by AutoZone. Let's take a look at the AutoZone road ahead.
Here come the Houston Cougars. Dana Holgerson always has a team that will score, and coach, they will sack you. They're aggressive.
Yeah, this year, I mean, they've always been known for their offense. Obviously, Coach Holgerson, offensive mindset, air raid type of deal, similar to what Mississippi State did with some various wrinkles. But this year, they are playing top-notch defense. They're one of the top in the country in sacks. They're going to be very aggressive, and we're going to have our hands full down in Houston.
Some people have said that they are even more talented than Cincinnati. Of course, Cincinnati's at the top of the league, but they've really brought in a lot of transfers to make things work for them.
Yeah, look, Houston has always been loaded with talent. Let's just call it what it is. Every year we've played them, they've all been close games. They've always had talent. You always look across and say, wow, that looks like a big-time team. And they're loaded with talent again this year. A ton of transfers, a ton of new faces. Very talented. We're going to have our hands full, but we're excited about the challenge ahead.
That was tonight's AutoZone Road Ahead. AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination and official sponsor of Tiger Athletics. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Fasten your seatbelts. This one should be a lot of fun. Stick around. We'll put a bow on this edition of the Ryan Silverfield Show in just a minute.
You're watching The Ryan Silverfield Show, presented by AutoZone.
That was a lot of fun tonight to watch the dedication of Ryan Silverfield. We'll do this again next Sunday. Have a great week, everybody.
The Ryan Silverfield Show is presented by AutoZone. Next time you need a car battery, just pick it up. Visit AutoZone.com and select same-day store pickup. Just one reason why AutoZone is America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone. And by Conway Services, official HVAC partner of Tiger Athletics. Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. R.J. Young. Technology solutions that power your business. Tennessee Lottery. Turning dollars into dreams. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation of the University of Memphis Sports Network. This copyrighted telecast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield under the broadcasting rights granted by the University of Memphis. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the expressed written consent of the University of Memphis and Learfield.